Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View and welcome to another road trip. Manchester United in the FA Cup third round against Brighton today at Old Trafford. It's blitz, it's cold, it's freezing, it's icy, it's grey. All of those things you'd expect for England in January. But we got a job to do in what is possibly, probably, maybe, who knows, Darren Fletcher's last game as Man United interim manager, if all of that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, I'm going to be up at the game. Do you know what? And over the Christmas period, you know, it's so busy. Seeing family, seeing friends, this, that, and the other. You know what it's like. You don't get to go to, well, I didn't get to go to all the games. Any games, actually, over the Christmas period, being so busy and with some of them crazy kickoff times. So I'm returning. So, weirdly... the last game I went to, I didn't think the next time I returned, Ruben wouldn't be there, but that's where we are. Weirdly, I'm kind of excited because I ain't been for a little while, but that's obviously stupid because we know what our team's on, but still a fan. Going to Old Trafford still means something, especially when I take it for granted without having gone in a little while. But this game, I want to talk about Benjamin Sesko because... yes, I'm nervous. It's Brighton and, you know, you don't want to go out in the third round of the FA Cup. This team, like, look, I can't be bothered to cuss again, but it's an understatement to say they owe us, right? It's an understatement to say they owe us after going out to Grimsby, and this is the only thing we can win. So we have to take it seriously. But Benjamin Sesko, I like what Dan Fletcher's been saying after the game about him at Burnley. And a little bit in the presser as the second presser for this game. But he's been working on stuff, man. He's been working on stuff. And look, you don't want to get overgassed and do too much, you know. But there are signs. There's signs. Like he hasn't been good enough in some games. But what we do need to remember is that he is getting into positions, which is half the battle, right? Which is probably more than half the battle. And he has some good components. So I'm hoping that those couple of goals he scored against Burnley can kickstart something. I hope it's not just like, you know, 2 goals flash in the pan and then he goes back to, I think it was like a 9-game. Was it like a 9-game goalless streak? Because he hadn't scored since Sunderland, I want to say. And that feels like ages ago. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it was like a 8-9 game scoreless streak, right? Games without a goal. And then he got a brace against Burnley last time out. But we all want him to continue that. He's got the ingredients. I think if we play the game how Darren Fletcher wants us to play the game, you know, with the intention of that, being expressive, do you know what I'm saying? It's a home game, entertaining the crowd, but also managing the game properly. If we play like that, the chances are we are going to get chances. We've been creating chances. Obviously, the last time out against Brighton was probably our best performance of the season, barring a 15-minute spell where Amorim made like 3 subs at 3-0 up, or 2 subs at 3-0 up, took off Casemiro and Luke Shaw, didn't he? And he brought on Dorgu and Xerxes at the time. And Kobe, I think it was, as well, came on. And all of a sudden, we started to lose control of the game, conceded 2 stupid goals, and Brian Mbeumo had to get the 4th. But it was one of our better performances, 3-0 up, and it was really good. Listen, Brighton's a tough team. We know this. Brighton on their day can pull up, skirt, yeah, all of that. They're on it. Other times, not so much. What type of team is Fabian Hertz going to play as well? Does he mix it up a little bit, etc., etc.? Who knows? I don't think Darren Fletcher will be mixing it up as well. I don't think that will be the right thing to do. I don't think that having gone out of the Carabao Cup earlier on in the season, which is obviously nothing to do with Darren Fletcher, by the way, but with that being the scenario, with the pressure being so high and we don't have a manager, and him understanding the feeling of the fans, the feeling about the place, today of all days is not the day for, you know, experiments. Yeah, I have to give Owen £100 if Sonny Lummers doesn't start this game, which I'm sure he will, by the way. But I'm just saying, this is not the time for experiment. This is the time for consistency. Also, at a time, commiserations to Cameroon, commiserations to Ivory Coast, as their teams lost yesterday, lost their quarterfinal game, so they're out of the competition, which is sad for anyone who's from Cameroon. Shout out all the African following guys, African people who are following AFCON. If you're Cameroonian or you're Ivorian, you know what I'm saying? Big up to you. You guys, his journey is over. But from a Man United perspective, it means that these players are on their way back. Not for today, obviously, but obviously for the Manchester derby next week. So things are, what my point is that things are starting to look better. The only people missing is Matthias de Ligt at the moment still, and of course Mazraoui's still there for Morocco, who looking good. So look, things are starting to look up. We need consistency. We need to make sure we're still in this cup, is what my point is. Come the draw, I think on Monday or whenever it is, or today, I think it is. I want to see us be attacking. This is it's not a new dawn, because that's the thing. That's quite tiring. We can't really get into like that new dawn bit. Like we can't. Like we don't know what that is. Like the new dawn is, even when the interim manager gets there, we can't really invest into it too much. And that's what the frustrating thing is. We don't know where to call home. We don't know what to get into. You just have to, the only thing is consistent is that we just keep supporting our team. That's it. That's all we got. That's all we got. The ups and downs, the highs and lows. That's it. Pulling up, supporting the players who put on the red jersey. That's it. Because, if we get an interim to the end of the season, you're assuming that's going to be just to the end of the season. Then you got to, get an affinity to the next guy. And that's why it's not about affinities. It's about, we have to just ride it out and hope that these Wallies upstairs can make some decent decisions, which I'm not confident on. Darren Fletcher, though, is getting a lot of plaudits. The way he's talking, the way he's handling the media, obviously. He's saying the right things. I would just slow down a little bit, though. I've seen some people say, listen, he speaks really well. Why don't Darren Fletcher just... why don't he just get the interim thing? We'll give him another game. If he does well against Brighton, then, maybe we just give it to him. And I just think... I don't know. I just think we're in a position where that might not be the best. I don't think that's the best way to judge whether he's right or wrong. But at the same time, how much worse can it get? Because bringing Ollie back, and you know how that ended, is it the right thing? Bringing Carrick at this level, he's more experienced, obviously, than Darren Fletcher. He's never managed before. But that's a risk. So we're in this phase where I get it. People are like, do you know what? If Darren Fletcher does it right and he's saying the right things, just let him have it. And, just let him have it. Listen, I'm not like dead against it in terms of if we do that, it means this. You have to get Ollie because it means that. Because I don't know. I ain't got a clue. That's the problem. No one's got a clue about this. So all options and opinions are on the table. But I thought that was interesting that people are picking up the whole, he speaks well. But he's talking about Man United and expressing ourselves. And what I did like about what he said about the players actually finding solutions. I'll set you up the game plan, this, that, and the other. But you got to find solutions within the game. But this is all coaches are kind of like this, though, man. This is all their intention until it goes tits up. So we'll see. The main thing is get in the next round, okay? Get in the hat for the next round, bro. Because you criminals made us go out against Grimsby, all right? And obviously we're not in Europe. So you give us a cup run. Give us something, okay? Okay? Okay. In terms of the team, before I leave you guys and see you guys at the stadium, I don't think Fletcher needs to change too much. I'd probably go with the same team, I think. Bruno started the last game. Yeah, maybe Mason Mount might be able to start, but Dorgu on the right, I'll probably have him there. You keep Cunha on the left. Bruno on the 10, Sesko. The only thing I might change is maybe starting Kobbie Mainoo. But that's out of I just want him to get some rhythm now. It's not even really... that tactical, this, that, and the other. Kobbie's main is better than Ugarte, of course he is. But Darren Fletcher might go with the stability and solidity of Ugarte and Casemiro. And I don't think he's the sort of guy in this position who's going to want to change things, change the starting 11. Do you know what I mean? He'd probably like the fact we had 30 shots last game. But me personally, obviously, selfish reasons, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what you guys think, but I'd bring in Kobbie. Maybe he might start Yoro for Heaven as well. I don't know. Be interesting to see if he does make any changes and just how many he does. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll see you guys after the game. Hopefully we'll be in the round, in the hat for the next round as well, getting a win against Brighton. Let's not say comfortable because that won't really happen. I'm out of here. I'll see you there. Peace.